Hey there, Jeremy, Bombite Inc., BasicBMS. I got a new feature here that just shipped called Automated Billing. I want to show you guys a little bit about that. This is for anybody that bills customers on a regular cycle, monthly service fees, quarterly maintenance contracts, annual subscriptions. We did another video here about a month ago. Like I said, it talked about the scheduling and scheduling component that was universal to everything. So this is kind of a tie into that. I'll put a link in there. You can get back there, watch that video as well. But yeah, so if your billing happens monthly or reoccurs, this is going to be useful. This was written in small pieces. So there's certain parts of this that we can use without reoccurring billing. So there's some good to come of that as well. But let's jump over to BasicBMS and kind of let's start taking a look at this. So as usual, we start at the landing page. And we want to set up a reoccurring billing. Okay, so let's go over to our customers here and let's find Mays McCormick. Let's start with them, right? We'll go to invoices. So what we're going to do here is we're going to create an invoice, okay? And we're going to rename this invoice for some sort of reoccurring billing, and then we'll show you how this gets handled and processed throughout the system. So for the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to new invoice and we're going to say recurring. This is just going to create us another invoice just like any other. But we're going to open up this invoice. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to rename the invoice or renumber, right? And so we're going to renumber this invoice to recurring. And let's say this is a Bombite Inc. customer. Let's use this for an example, right? So let's say website renewal. This is more just to keep things organized that we're going to rename this. You don't necessarily have to do this, but it'll make more sense when we look back on it. So then from there, let's say, hey, we're going to go ahead and we're going to use just a basic item. And we're going to say that this is a and the price is $25. Quantity 1, the retail is 25, right? And so we're going to save this. And then let's see here. Let's go ahead and add some tax. Nope, this is Australia, so we're not going to add any tax to this. If we did, it would reprocess it every time. So now you can see our payable payments, and you can see the Stripe payment down here to get a link. On a traditional invoice, we would do that, but on this case, we're just going to leave this blank because the invoice processing is going to handle that, right? So then from here, let's go ahead and do an add, and we're going to add ourselves a reoccurring billing, right? So we're going to say website renewal. And we're going to say that website renewal, let's just say it starts on 2/1 of 2026, so it's a ways out. We want it to reoccur at 8 in the AM. So there's a deal that runs in the background that will kick this off automatically. Obviously, that's not going to work for us in a demo, but we'll walk through it step by step. You'll get the idea, right? Again, we said that's a monthly, so we want it to reoccur every month on the first day, right? Or on the first Monday, let's do it that way. So then this should generate us the invoice and everything for us on the first day of every Monday. Let's add a couple people to this recurring item, and this looks pretty good. So we'll go ahead and hit save here, right? Again, we're not going to create the payment link. This had some other instructions in here we can edit up. Let's see. So where are we at there? So let's go back to our invoices for this customer account for Mays McCormick, and we can see that we have this one in here that's for a renewal, right? So let's go over here even further, and let's go to accounting, and let's go to billing. Now in the billing, you can see that our scope is from 04/21 to here to July 21st, right? And you can see that we have the website renewals all scheduled, and they're going to kick off the first of every month, right? So you can see right now we don't have auto charge enabled, and I can show you how to enable auto charge. We actually do that over in the customer account. And then over here you can see this that we say run now. So let's see what we have in process currently, because I had been fiddling with this, right? Okay, so you can see that these are in process. This one's ready, and this one's succeeded, right? And you can see that this one's also charged the customer, right? So this works a couple different ways. So if it's a customer and if you want them on renewable, the first thing we have to do is capture their credit card information, right? And so there's a couple ways to capture this credit card information. The first way is we can send them the invoice with the QR code at the bottom. right? So let's take this as a legit invoice here. So we're opening up this invoice. This is for a different customer, but Max Marble, but we're going to follow the same concept here. And you can see right here that he's got a charge card, but we can also do a get payment link, right? So let's go back. Let's take us another step back. And we'll go back to billing, and we'll go to upcoming. And let's say here next month, let's go ahead and process the one for 5/1. That date hasn't happened. If the date did happen, it would automatically process it. Would have automatically processed it, but it didn't. We're going to go ahead and tell it to manually run. Now, this is doing a whole lot of stuff in the background. This is copying over an invoice. This is exporting a PDF. This is creating an email with an attachment. There's a lot of work going on behind the scenes. But now that it's done, we're going to go over to in process, and we should see this Mays McCormick bill for 5/1. So we're using this as an example because Mays McCormick has never actually paid us, right? And so we're looking through this, and everything looks good. And here's the bill. It's for $25. But you can see here that we didn't have the collect payment because we've never actually had the credit card information entered from Mays McCormick. So we'll send this out to the customer. The customer can either scan the QR code. The open link obviously doesn't work in a PDF, or they can go to the link. The first time they pay with this QR code, we're going to use Stripe's card on file stuff, and we're going to save this credit card information for future billing, right? So in this case, this would be like a brand new fresh run of a customer. We'd send it out, they would enter that information. If it's too confusing for your customers to enter the information, we can go to Mays McCormick. So we're just going to click on the customer name here, and we're going to jump over to the customer account, right? And you'll see that there's payment methods here. If you're on the phone with them and you need to collect this information for either a single payment or a repayment, you can go into the customer account, you can hit save card. This is going to bop you over to Stripe, and you're going to enter in this credit card information for the customer. So you can still take that over the phone. Kind of wild and wacky. We're all over the place, right? But so let's go back to the billing part, right? Where we were looking at this here. And so had we collected that, we could have charged the card right here and then just sent them the whole thing. It would have said it was paid and collected. And then we'd essentially send them the invoice as a receipt, right? But in this case, we haven't collected that yet. So let's go back over to our billing, and we're going to go to see what's in process. And we were kind of messing with Max Marble over here, right? And so Max here, we were testing the billing and how it behaved when it was declined, right? So you can see right here it said his card was declined, right? So in this area, what we're trying to do is collect payment or either figure out how to process payment. Ultimately, you're going to say prepare to email or download the PDF or the invoice, however you want to do it, and you can send it either through your desktop. But we have a communication hub. We'll get there in just a second. But the communication hub will save the email with the attachment and everything else, and we can send it off. So we'll keep working through that here. So back to the accounting and the reconciliation. This one says it's ready. So let's see if we can charge Andy's Automotive, and let's see if it will process. So we're going to click the charge button, and there you go. So Andy's Automotive was charged successfully, $334. So now if we go back and we open this invoice, right, for Andy's Automotive, we're going to see that it charged the account, and it applied it to the payable payments, and now the Stripe field said it's paid in full. So kind of to break away from this, if you're going to do progress payments, make the Stripe payment. You can actually set up the Stripe payment for a smaller amount and collect that smaller amount, right? And so that's part of how we'll make the progress payments piece of this work. So let's see. Now that that's been paid, right? You can see back here in the billing area, and we can even do it from the header. We can send it over to the communication hub and have it processed for email, right? So for this case, this was Andy's Automotive. Let's say prepare email. It's going to grind now again, so it's going to download another copy of that invoice. It's going to create an email. It's going to attach it to the email, and it's going to stage it to be sent. There is mechanisms in here where we can turn this on and enable this throughout, and it will flow automatically. As an accountant, which I am not, I would not recommend that. The amount of work it takes to undo a fouled up automation sometimes is a lot more work than what it takes to just to handle it naturally, right? We'll go over to communications here in just a second. We'll talk about this. But so back to the incoming or the upcoming, in process, and then schedules. This is just a tab to see all of the invoices that have schedules in your system. I just thought it would be handy to have a way to quick reference it. So to turn on auto charge, let's talk a little bit about that. So to turn on auto charge, that's back over in our customers area, right? So what was it? Max Marble, we know they had a good credit card. So let's come over here and take a look at Max Marble and Granite's profile, right? And what we have here, you can see that we have the cards on file, and we can manage cards, and we can enable auto charging. So when you process that, it's going to auto charge that card that's on file. It's either going to succeed or fail, and it's going to appear the same way, right? So let's go back over to, so let's go to the communications hub now, because this is kind of the last thing. Either we're going to send out an invoice or we're going to send out a receipt, right? And so with that being said, we're over here, and we have Andy's Automotive. This is the one we were just working on. And it looks like it says it's in draft, right? So we can click the I over here before we actually send it off, and we can see what we're doing. We're going to send it to Andy's Automotive, and Andy has an email on file by the highlight. You can see it's there. And then you can see the date. If we need to change any of this, we can change it, right, if need be, and we'll save it as a draft. You can also preview the attachment that's about to be sent, so we just hit that. So it's that same PDF now, but it's in a PDF form, or it's that same invoice now, but it's in PDF format. And we're going to go ahead and open this, and we can verify it visually. Everything's there. It says it's fully paid, shows the payments applied. So we'll jump back over here, and we'll just say send. So now this sits out there in that same time tracking piece, the processor, if you will, within the application. Here at some point within the next couple minutes, the timer's going to kick off, and it's going to send out this email. And it's going to end up going to another email account that I have. So that's kind of, in a nutshell, the whole recurring billing thing. I know there's a lot there. There's a lot of moving components, right? So you have the form for the invoice, you have the recur bill, so on and so forth. Talk about a couple edge cases here that are pretty unique. So let's say we're back to Maze McCormick, right? And so we set this up for Maze, and we've already billed her. And we'll go into invoices again, and let's say something changes with this customer, and now they're not doing just websites. Let's say they're doing websites and renewal email, right? We can come in here and we can just simply open the invoice, and we can add another item to this template. The next time it bills out, it's going to bill out with that additional item, right? And so that works pretty slick, right? Also, in the middle of that billing step, let's say you had a renewable billing and you wanted to clear out some work order times and bill for work order time or things that were T&M, you can add them to it at that time and continue that billing process. So this has been a really, really powerful tool for me here. So let me see if that email came through. And so, yep. So here we go. It looks like that email came through right here. And you can see it, and it has the attachment, and the attachment came through. And that's the full billing cycle from a reoccurring perspective. A lot of what we showed there doesn't necessarily have to be reoccurring. The whole prepare and email thing, 100% independent. Yeah. So again, Jeremy with Bombite Inc. and BasicBMS. I know this was a longer than usual video. It looks like we're almost at 14 minutes. There's a lot here. Like on my Facebook, subscribe to my YouTube channel, hit us up on BasicBMS.com or find me at Bombite Inc. Sit down, maybe do a demo, and see maybe we can bring somebody on board with this new system. Loving it, you guys. Appreciate all the support.